Okay, guys, locked in? So moving on, right? Next section, marketing. So this is all about creating a marketing system. It really is a marketing system that ultimately provides you with profitable workflow, consistent profitable workflow. Okay, so you might be wondering, how does marketing affect the profitability? But we'll get into all of that in just a minute. So let's look at what we're going to cover here. First up, the golden rule for marketing. So this is, seriously, it drives me nuts. It's so simple and basic and so freely available, but 90% of people don't do it, including the big advertising firms out there. So I'm going to give you just the fundamentals, but it's seriously going to put you in the top 10% in terms of your market ability to market your business and your understanding. How to create direct response marketing. So there's branding, get your name out there. You hear people say get your name out there. You just got to get your name out there, right? The next level, that's marketing 101, doesn't work unless you're a multinational company. Next is direct response. So we'll look at that. And there's another third tier now that is very cutting edge. This is the new information that's come out, a whole new concept to marketing, which is brilliant. And if you get on board with it now, it's not that complex. If you get on, and you'd be familiar with it when I explain to you, when you get on board with it now, if the guys that don't, 3 years from now, they're going to be dead in the water. Well, they won't be able to catch you. Okay, so I'm going to strongly urge you to do something. I'll tell you what you need to do and then follow through. It doesn't have to be with us, but you will seriously, it's like, yes, mobile phones and email. These guys that laughed at mobile phones when they first came out. And you can't not function without one. Same as email, right? You get the early adapters, middle, late. So how to create a marketing pack or brochure for your business, and that's a triple-edged sword. So we'll look at that, the exact process for that. And then 10 ways to market your business. And I'll show you some examples of what other builders and contractors are using to get the inquiry to come in. All right, so the purpose of marketing, this is really, really important, right? You want to write this down. And once again, 80-20, man, I'll keep it really simple for you. This is all, the sole purpose of everything that you do in your marketing is geared towards these three things. Okay, one thing, getting the phone to ring, right? That's direct response. But in doing that, these are the three things that we're trying to achieve, okay? Building trust is the first one. How much trust is there in this industry? It's not less. It's one of those unfortunate things. Well, it's actually fortunate because there's things you can do to demonstrate, the keywords demonstrate to people that they can trust you. And because there's not a lot in the industry, you stand out. It gives you market penetration, if you like, okay? So, but let's face it, builders not too far from real estate agents in terms of trust. So on the upper end, you get like, I think pharmacists and doctors are quite well respected. And then there's like, probably builders, real estate agents, lawyers, right? Something like that. But there's not a lot of trust. So what you want to do is build trust. And it's not because yes, there are rogue builders, but also, let's face it, there's guys with genuine, like honest, sincere builders out there. They're good people, but they're ignorant about certain aspects of the business and they take a wrong turn and bang, and the client bears the brunt. And then it's on current affair, and then he's a rogue. It's not necessarily the case, right? So what we want to do is make people, when you think of a prospect or client, and with most of you, the people that give you money, they're probably their biggest spend that they're ever going to make, right? So I know there's a luxury builder in the room, $2-3 million bucks. It's a huge chunk of money. You've got to think of your prospect as someone who's full of anxiety, just full. They're not going to show it to you, but they are very, very scared about handing over a big check because of all the negative publicity and the lack of trust in the industry. So there's things you can do to make them feel safe. That's all you're doing, make them feel safe. You also want to be relevant to them. Okay, so whatever you talk to them about, it's like if I say to you, I've gone to tell you about this marketing strategy that I use for a restaurant to help them like triple the sale of garlic bread. You guys, You know what I mean? You're just going to go, or retail stores. You must check the results we got with these like women's clothing stores in Sydney. You're not going to be interested. It's not relevant to you. But if I say to you, there's this builder, he did this one thing, he made 200 grand. And wasn't that, then you all like, what? Tell me about it. So relevant, same with your clients. If you're a residential builder and you're telling them about the medical center that you built, that you won an award for and you're so proud of, they're just going to zone out, okay? And this is why there's one overriding factor which helps boost all of these. And then differentiate. So you've got to stand out and be different from the other guys that are quoting on the job. Hopefully you can get to a point with time where you negotiate on work, but when you're quoting against other guys, there's got to be a point of difference that is relevant and builds trust. Okay, otherwise, what's going to be the point of difference they look for? Price. And that's what's happening. Guys aren't switching their brains on, right, in the industry. You think marketing, and it's going, nah, it's like the finance stuff, right? They don't want to know about it. But if you just spend a bit of time and prepared to put in the effort to figure this stuff out, you can differentiate yourself massively, right? Where it's no longer about price, because price is like ninth on the list of people's importance. But when everything looks the same, what's the only differentiator? The price, okay? So how do we achieve this? How do we build trust, relevance, and differentiate in the best possible way? Golden rule marketing, what do you reckon it is? Communication. Yeah, it is part of that. You're communicating. But what you're doing is you're communicating in a way that just breaks through all the clutter. You just smash through it. And it's almost like you slap them in the face, if it's relevant. Okay? You niche. All right, so if you're doing premium bathrooms, for example, and someone needs a premium bathroom done, and you're a premium bathroom specialist, what does that do? Premium being, say, 40 grand and above. So we've got a guy that does that, and he's been doing it for 25 years. So the analogy is specialist versus a GP. If you guys see a specialist cardiologist, what's your level of trust that the guy knows what he's doing? It's high, man. The guy studied for 8 years just on that one organ, right? That's all he does. Right? And when you get the bill, what do you expect? It's going to be more expensive. If it was less than a GP, you'd be suspicious, right? So by positioning yourself as an expert, as a specialist in a particular area, straight away, people will, and it doesn't have to be logical, right? People are 80% emotion, 20% logic. By virtue of the fact that you're saying you're a specialist, they will trust you more. Whether it's a specialist in renovations, a specialist in Queenslanders, whatever it is that you do, project homes, luxury homes, they're going to trust you more. It's more relevant to them, and by virtue of the fact of being a specialist, you've differentiated yourself. Bang. So all three of those things are covered in one hit. Okay? Now there's something else as well. Has anyone here got a niche? I spoke to someone earlier. What do you guys specialise in?
I've got something to say about my niche.
Yeah.
I'm a commercial builder.
Yeah.
I try really hard and I actively market myself and sell myself as being very trustworthy. Been established since 1971. Not a fly-by-nighter. If you're dealing with me, I'm the director of the company. And a lot of other issues that I raise with clients as well. In the commercial industrial industry with those investors, or a lot of them are owner-occupiers now, they've pretty much got in their heads that it's an industrial building. I don't give a rat's ass about quality or whatever. Some do, but the majority say couldn't give a rat's ass, and it's just a price point. There's competitors of mine around at the moment who have come back from bankruptcy, back in the game now, just price and jobs at costs. I've lost my last 3 quotes to this one particular builder. And there's always going to be that builder around, you know what I mean? So I've tried my hardest to combat that. I'm at a loss.
Okay, so without spending too much time on just your particular issue, but I will just touch on it. So there's a couple of things. First thing you said to me is you communicating to them that they can trust you. Okay, so that you want to build trust, but you can't tell someone that. So I don't know what you're saying. I had a client whose whole marketing message was the garage and shed people you can trust. All right? It's like you're meeting someone for the first time and they say, trust me. You can't say, trust me, you've got to demonstrate it, okay? The other thing is, with your particular market, and this is the challenging thing with marketing, well, this is the one thing you've got to do. You've got to get inside their heads, which is what brings up the relevance. So for the guy that I was speaking to this morning that does luxury homes and a $2 million home, they're not thinking price, that client. Okay, maybe there's one, but I wouldn't even go there. You know, if they want to import everything from China and do a $2 million project with the cheapest materials they can find, with the cheapest subbies, you know, you're probably not going to find many people like that. So their focus and where they see value is in a different area. So your guys, it is, because they're investors. They want to make money, it's bottom line. So I've got a client that does that in Melbourne, does multi-unit developments. So it's about understanding what they want and what's important to them, and then finding information within there that's relevant to them, that differentiates you, and demonstrating trust. What's that? The only thing? There would be other things. There would be, if we really looked at it, there would be other things that are important to them as well. So it's about understanding what those are. Maybe it's the when it gets finished by. Now, if some of them, maybe it's got to get finished by a certain timeline, right? Never an issue if it drags on. Yeah. Okay. But it's about finding out what it is. And I'm not saying it's easy, but that's what you've got to find out. For residential builders, like I've dealt with more residential builders, it's easy to come up with a list of 17 things that's important to them besides the price. And it's really emphasizing that. So, who was the other guy, sorry, other niche?
Architectural homes.
Okay, great.
We just build on luxury custom homes, build on reputation over a period of time.
Fantastic.
Smaller area.
Yeah.
So it's not price orientated at all.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a fantastic example there, because if someone is looking for an architecturally designed home in a certain geographical area, and then they find out that you're an expert or specialist at doing that type of home in that area with a portfolio of work, what does that do to their level of trust in you? Okay, it almost guarantees that they won't end up on Current Affair, right? The guy that's all things to all people, but I'll do commercial job, residential, luxury home, he'll finish up at the end of his career doing a pub for the first time. So always in diapers, right? So generalist, GP versus a specialist. You're going to be like jack of all trades, master of none. Whereas if you niche yourself, and it's counterintuitive because straight away you isolating the type of work you do, the volume of work you do to a particular type. Now, how would you decide on your niche, by the way? What would be the first port of call if you're uncertain, if you haven't got a niche and you're uncertain which way to turn? Would be a good... Hey, blue houses, man, yeah. Chase the margin. And the other thing, so the counterintuitive, right? Because if you look at most of the marketing out there, and I see it all the time, I laugh when I see guys saying, you see them when they use the word specialise, that's what really gets me. I saw a guy not so long ago where he said specialise in residential, commercial, maintenance, insurance. Like he's got 4 different industries, sub-industry, and he said we specialise in. That's ridiculous. Like a doctor saying specialise in a cardiologist, ingrown toenails, ear, nose, throat, I sell watches, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to trust that. You just think liar, it just screams liar. So what you want to do is say, this is what we do, and this is what we do exceptionally well. We understand it. And in your marketing, what you want to communicate is, and this is reality, right? These are all the things that can go wrong. That's just something you could do. It's, fear-mongering would be the term. You can say, you're going to do this project, here's all the things that can go wrong, right? And all you're doing is actually drawing back the curtain, and the truth will set you free. This is reality, right? No job's ever going to go according to plan, and there's a whole lot of things can go wrong. You can lose all your money. So probably a good idea to use a guy that's done a dozen of these projects before in this area. That's who we are. You know what I mean? And that's where they'll go, oh, wow. So there's ways you can, and they'll trust you. So I'll give you a lawyer example. Who's ever dealt with a lawyer before? Okay. I used to hear the jokes about lawyers. Get them all together and then skin them alive first, then chop them up, and then screw them into the ground sort of thing. I was thinking, wow. And then I had an experience with one, and I realised where that came from. But So not a lot of trust, right? Even less than builders. So as the lawyer advertised, this used to demonstrate the trust thing. He'd advertise, don't speak to another lawyer until you've read this free report on something. But you'd call him. You'd have people call him about a certain type of litigation that they've never been involved in. So they go, this guy's trying to sue me. I've never been in this situation. I don't know what to do. What he would say is, okay, tell me more about the situation. All right, what I'm going to do is send you a 25-page booklet on all the things you need to know about this particular type of litigation. Plus, I'm going to send you a link to all the government websites that will give you free assistance and advice with that type of litigation. Read that, go see those departments. Then, after all of that, if you've still got questions, come back to me. So what do most lawyers do? Straight off the bat. Come in and see me. $500 a second, right, as you walk through the door. So this guy's trying to get their hooks in you, and what's your net worth, how many properties you got. This guy's, I'm going to send you, here's all free information, and that's counterintuitive. You think, what, for a lawyer? But he knows, that thing he sent you has got a whole bunch of things in there relevant to him, and he knows, what's the government going to do? It's going to drive you nuts. So you're back with him, and when you go back to him, he's the guy you trust, right? So there's things you can do like that as well in your marketing. But first and foremost, position yourself as a specialist. The way you get your head around it, because how are you going to... I've got guys that say to me, well, if I just do reno, it's like, what if there's not enough? And how am I going to live and feed my kids? And you don't need to, when you start niching in a particular area, you don't need to only do that work. All you're doing is setting up an arm of your marketing geared towards that particular niche. So when someone phones you and says, hey, you did a commercial job 2 years ago, can do another one, but you're now niching in luxury architecture design homes, if you need the money, you can still do the commercial job. But eventually what will happen is over time, you'll get deeper and deeper in that groove so that your volume of work will just dominate that niche. And then because you work in that one niche, you become so good at it, you'll have the best subbies, the best suppliers, you'll have seen every eventuality that your systems for delivering the work will be exceptional. You'll start winning awards if you haven't already. Your portfolio will be huge. Eventually you'll be the go-to man. What you want to do is it's called niche domination. You just want to dominate that niche, so if it's architecture design homes in your area. So people getting 3 quotes, you're one of them. Bang. And you're not the cheapest. And that's it. And you decide if you're going to do the work. So the end result should be sushi train. Sushi train of work. And it keeps getting better the longer you stay in the niche. All right, so does that make sense to everyone? It's a big step for a lot of people. Other guys agonize for months over their niche. But what I'll get you to do now actually is all 3 minutes. Choose a niche. So think about blue houses first and foremost. You might as well go chase the money, the margin, then the revenue. But try and narrow it down to an area that you like to specialize in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's too many. The third one.
We do all the other, but that's known for. That's our awards.
Okay. So So here's an example, guys. Sorry, if you. Do you mind if I use this as an example? Is that all right? So Mitchell Builders. So leading with a name, right? Which what does that tell you about the type of work he does? So like all builders in the building or in the building industry in this room, if I say Mitchell Builders, you don't know, right? What is it, commercial? Is it maintenance? It could be remedial work, could be luxury home, you don't know. So then I'll turn back to the card and says, so expertise include seniors living and retirement estates, high-rise offices, units and apartments, ecologically sustainable developments, insurance claims, residential and commercial buildings, refurbishments and expansions. So you're trying to, and look, in your defense, you're trying to cast a wide net, right? Which is logical, but that's not how it works, right? To give you market penetration, choose one. Now, so what's the name? Damien. So Damien said ecologically sustainable developments is actually the niche. So all you got to do is you make that your niche. Ecologically sustainable development specialist, or you can change the word. You got to make the wording relevant to your client so they understand. When they see it, they get it, right? And then, but within that, you can have these other, you can do ecologically sustainable developments for retirement estates, for high rise. You can have that within your portfolio of a range of stuff, but you lead with a niche. Okay. Has everyone got a niche? You're all thinking you know which way you'd go, at least with your marketing systems, and start setting it up? All right, so here's the other thing that a lot of people are totally unaware of. Has anyone heard of this reticular activating system? All right, so it's a physiological thing, right? A little gland about the size of your pinky nail that sits under your brainstem, your hypothalamus, and it serves as your information filtering system for your brain. So our brains take in 2 million bits of information a second through each eyeball, okay? But it can only focus on 134. So if it try to focus on, because you just think where you're looking, all the shapes, the three-dimensional shapes, colors, if your brain focused the same amount of attention on everything, it will just explode, right? So it only focuses on what it decides is important, either consciously or subconsciously. So we've all got different programming from our upbringings and conditioning, right? So what it is, example is, when you're about to buy a new car or a ute, and then you start noticing them on the road, right? Or your wife falls pregnant, and then you start seeing more pregnant women. Right? You all understand what I'm talking about there? It's not that those things weren't there before, they were. You just now, your brain subconsciously has assigned more importance to that thing and picks it out and shows it to you. And it's involuntary, right? It's physiologically an involuntary thing. You don't decide that's going to happen, it happens for you. Now, if someone's driving along and on the weekend they're sitting to their wife having a cup of coffee thinking, really, we need to expand, or I need to renovate. And then they drive and they see a sign saying, thinking of renovating, that thing's going to jump out at them, bang. It's like if your fridge packs up and then you read you don't buy the paper for ads, right? You're going through the paper and it says, need a new fridge. Well, if it's not relevant, you won't see it. But if it's relevant, it'll jump out at you. Okay, so that's one of the tools or the factors that comes into play, which is very powerful from a direct response marketing point of view, because Mitchell Builders is only relevant to Damien and his family, really, right? And maybe the few clients you've worked with. They would see that and recognize it. No one else is going to even see it in their day because it's too busy. Everything's a blur. Okay, so let's look at some examples of that. So here's some ads, right? You can do flyers, ads, newspaper ads. The concept or the system, really, for writing these things it's a four-pronged approach. The first thing is attention, then interest, then desire, and then action. So AIDA. AIDA. Has anyone heard of that before? Developed in 1927, apparently, right? But if you look, what do you see most ads? If you look at the old Yellow Pages or even in the newspaper, what's at the top? What's that? Name. Business name, right? But most ads would have XYZ building, commercial, residential, boom, 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 phone number, like a business card. Get your name out there, right? So name's up front, boom, big bold letters, and then the rest follow. So what I'm going to prescribe is direct response following this process, which looks like this. Okay, so this is manipulating the reticular activating system as well, which is what we just spoke about. So look at this one here. So what do they do? What's the niche? It's pretty clear, right? They're not trying to be funny or it's just bang. So if you're thinking of doing a shed or garage, relevant, right? Boom, you won't not see that. It's impossible. Then next, it goes straight into, so that's the attention using the RAS. If you Google that, there's some great information on it. Then the interest and desire is in the contents of the ad, which I'll cover, and then there's a call to action. Okay, so if you read that, if you are looking for shed or garage, it'll be hard not to read the next subheading, which is 5 reasons why you should call us. And then it goes into, bang, guaranteed 100% happy you don't pay. So this is the interest and desire. And one word, relevance. So you got to, because if the information in there is not relevant, it's not going to create any interest and desire. So we're so confident that you'll love your new structure that if you're not happy at any stage of your project, then you don't pay until you are. That's our guarantee to you. So what, as builders and contractors, does that sound like a compelling reason to consider using them? Is that quite powerful, would you say? Does it sound like it? Yeah, you're not happy, we don't pay it. You don't have to pay us. Don't you all do that anyway? Like you've got, if the client's not happy at that stage, you're not going to get paid, right? So they're actually using something that everyone does anyway, but when you write it out like that and put the word guarantee there, it sounds really powerful and compelling as a point of difference, right? So the next one, we'll keep you informed. Communication is a bugbear of the industry, right? Builders are notoriously bad for not communicating well. So they put that in there. We'll phone you. Competent tradespeople. Once again, if you're niche, you can say we handpick our trades and subbies based on architecturally designed homes or the commercial work, because they understand what we do and how we do it and what's important to you, which are these things. And if it is relevant, they'll go, wow, that's great. No wonder they charge more, but they get what you pay for, you know what I mean? Your vision is our priority, we'll listen to your needs, blah, 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 blah. And then over here, this one's an interesting one. Are you aware? Don't be fooled. Anyone suggesting you become an owner-builder, you'll not be fully covered against indemnity. The garage will take all responsibility. You'll be covered by a fully licensed, insured builder whilst project is being built. Because they have got guys coming in at 40, 50% less, telling people to become owner-builder, right? That's their competition. So they're making them aware of something that's going on. And that's part of, like, it's for want of a better term, the fear-mongering. So if you know there's guys that are doing dodgy stuff, but you're not, then you mention it in your marketing. Say, beware of this, be aware of this, which makes people look at someone that's really cheap and think, flag that one, right? And it builds trust, because they're thinking, wow, this guy's telling us about this, and it's like the lawyer thing. Give them information that makes it feel. So this is demonstrating trust, right? As opposed to saying, these are the guys. Their whole thing was the garage people you can trust. And they are fantastic, upstanding members of the community, very trustworthy, but you can't lead with that. You've got to demonstrate it. So that's an example of demonstrating trust, right? Then testimonial, social proof, hugely powerful, right? Have you ever been in a room with a standing ovation? How hard is it to stay seated if the whole room stands? That's the power of social proof. And anyone done work for celebrities? A celebrity testimonial, hands down, it's just the world we live in. It's not logical, right? But someone did Steve Waugh's First Floor Edition. There's people that if they just know that's it. They want you to do the thing. Or someone did Andrew Denton's thing, whatever. Or sports people, provided they've got a good reputation. Massive. So if you ever get the opportunity, video testimonial, photograph them, get it written. And I mean, you see it all the time, right? People using these celebs because it's not logical, but you buy the credibility and the trust. Because if people trust that person, they then just associate that trust with you and your business. So that's a great way to do it. And then the fourth thing, so you created the attention, interest, and desire, and then a call to action. So call our team now. How many times do you see that? Call now. Right? Call now, call now. They split test ads. They have one ad like that, another one exactly the same without the call now. Is a 21% variance in call rates. All right, it's the power of the written, and psychologists have gone like, okay, why? How come that happens? And there's a guy in the States, he shut down the state of Ohio for 3 hours, backed up traffic, he put a sign on the bridge saying state of Ohio closed. And people stopped because apparently we'll respond to the written word, like words on a piece of wood saying trespassers will be prosecuted. People will obey that more than someone standing there saying don't go in there. That's how we are. It's just how we're wired. So you can see the same thing here, thinking renovating. So this is a very simple 4-step process. Can you see how this is direct response as opposed to get your name out there? Okay. So here's some banner examples. Now these banner guys that I'm working with now, there's a couple of them in particular that The one guy, he phoned me on Monday, and he said, Kurt, 15 years, right? He can't remember getting a phone call from his banner, and he's getting 2 appointments a week while having something like this. Just saying. So he was he's MKA Construction. So he had, like this guy would have HC Headland. That's what he had above it before. Now it's thinking of renovating. And then niche statement, we call it a niche statement. It's positioning yourself as a specialist or an expert, right? So Northern Beaches renovation and addition specialist, right? And then call to action, call now for free site inspection. Bang. Website address. And these guys are saying, like Betterment Constructions, you don't know what that is. So these are gold, man. Trailers, site signs, same concept. This guy here, he's got 3 of these, 2 utes and an SUV, right? No phone calls. He had pretty much exactly the same. So family homes, which you'd think says what he does. Like if you had to have a competition, like what type of building does he do? Like most people would get, it must be residential. No phone calls. He put these 5 words on. Thinking of renovating your home, right? The day it came out of the spray booth, you got a phone call. The guys, I'm behind you at a set of lights. And they get 4 inquiries a week from their vehicles. They've got 3, but it's their second highest lead generator. All right, so direct response. Obviously, winning awards helps as well. This is a guy on the Goldie. We worked with him. He hadn't actually got his license yet, and when he did, he got it, and then he put young bloke starting out doing carports and decks and stuff. Within 10 minutes, that's a magnet, right? He put it on his door, ching, and then 10 minutes, he walked into a shop and then got a phone call, boom, lead for an inquiry for carport. So just really driving home the direct response thing. The next very powerful tool, probably the most powerful thing you can do from a marketing perspective, is create one of these. Okay, it's a sales and marketing brochure, which serves as like a salesman in print for you. But you use it, when I say sales and marketing, it's marketing from the point of view, if you do architecture, you design homes, you can use it to go and see architects to get work, or draftees. And there's a guy in Sydney, I've told the story before, he was doing $1 million a year turnover, went up to 2 mil, and couldn't believe it, right? He said, this is 8 years ago. He woke up and he was like, well, we're doing $2 million turnover. Okay, he had an epiphany around go see architects. Okay, take portfolio and go see architects. This last year, 30 million turnover. Okay, 25 architects that they work with. So he didn't get 3 or 4 and then stop there. He just kept going. No goal in mind for revenue. You know, they didn't say I want to get to 20 mil. Just kept going. Boom, boom. So as a way to generate work, if that's what you want to do, then you really want to have something like this. So there's a process for writing these. I went to the States and found a template for how to set up a brochure like this that's got covert persuasion techniques built into it. All right. There's things that are, when I say covert persuasion, there's things that are built in and engineered to build trust, to make people trust you more. Okay. So I'm not going to. If you want to read the psychology behind that, there's a big company spend millions and millions and millions researching all this stuff. There's a book called The Power of Influence by a guy called Cialdini. If you get that on Amazon, if you're interested. But ultimately, this has been an absolute ripper. We've got a guy here in Brisbane. I don't know if any of you guys were at the last meeting we had. He record year, and he puts it down to having one of these brochures and using it as a marketing tool to go and generate work through architects and draftees, but also as a sales tool. So when you're quoting on a job, what you do is you send it out to someone before you meet them. So it precedes you actually meeting them in the flesh. So I'll give you the breakdown of what you need to put in there. Okay, this is the sequence. And like I said, it's very well thought out. There's methodology to this. So you lead with your niche. So you got to have your niche statement. whatever that is, commercial, residential, luxury homes, project homes, whatever you do, you lead with that. Then you straight off the back of that, right? And this, now the other thing with this is triple-edged sword, because it's a marketing tool, plus a sales tool, plus it mirrors your website. The content on your website and your Facebook page, if you're going to have one, is going to have the same layout. So it's a little bit of work to get it done, but once it's done, man, it'll serve you for years and years and years. So the first thing is, niche, then reasons why. Now these are relevant, compelling reasons why someone should consider using you. Okay, things like, yeah, you 27 years experience in this particular niche, won awards, done work for these celebrities, use a particular type of quality, 187-point quality assurance checklist, blah, 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 communicate. People, they can, with some of the project management software, people can log in, the client can log in and see the progress of the job. And for some of them, that's huge relevance, right, the communication. So you want to understand your client and then list as many reasons. Because what do most people lead with? Like when you go to most websites, say when you think of yourself as a client, you go to a website and you're checking out a company. What do they usually have on the home page? About us. Yeah, our business was started back in 1927, and my dad did this, and it goes on, and it tells you all about them, right? And you don't give a rat's about that. Right? You want to know what's in it for me. Like, sell me this thing. Tell me why I should buy from you. Why should I give you money, right? You want that. So when they say to you, we specialize in these fridges, and here's why you should buy one from us. Here's 17 good reasons why you should buy these from us. You know what I mean? Because we sell them at cost, and it's the best, whatever it is. And you as a customer going, yes, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. Boom, 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 boom. So people have these questions swimming around in their head, either consciously or subconsciously. And by virtue of you answering them straight off the bat, once again, they're going to like you more. They're going to think, yes, this guy gets it. So you give them compelling reasons. You then, after your 7 or 17 compelling, relevant reasons why they should use you and only you then hit them with a guarantee. Okay? Very powerful. So you guarantee defects free on handover, you know what I mean? Or guaranteed finished on time within budget, boom, or we will pay you $5,000 cash. You know, there's one guy up here who's a plumber builder, did bathrooms. He said he guarantees you get your bathroom renoed with us, the value of your home will increase by more than you spend with us, or we'll pay you $5,000 cash. And you get valuations thrown in. From a group, you select the value from a list, right, of accredited. Yeah, real ballsy. Those people will go to him based on that alone. Yours doesn't have to be that ballsy. You can just, the lamest ones are 7-year structural warranty, right? Which by law you've all got to have anyway, but if the other guy doesn't mention it, you know what I mean? It's like, and Master Builders Association. I've had guys say to me they had a barbecue and they overheard someone saying to someone else, but my builder's a master builder. You know what I mean? That's why I'm paying more. Their perception's reality, right? Their perception is that he's jumped through a whole lot of hoops, through years and climbed mountains to get this membership. But they don't know they can just go sign up. So if you're, not to say that it's not a good thing, it carries weight, right? A national association, what it does do from a trust perspective is it makes them, they straight away they think, well, this guy can't be a crook. If he's a criminal, how could he possibly belong to a national association? That's impossible, right? Surely they'd know. So you want to put all that in there. Testimonials. So I spoke about social proof and celebrity testimonials at best can once again be the whole thing. Before and after pictures say 1,000 words, so you pack those in. This is in sequence, right? And then at the very end, your company profile, which is the About Us. Okay, and with website, beautiful thing with website, they can tell how many people go to a page for how long, right? Websites, they can say, people went to this page, and you hear the thing like you got 8 seconds to get them or 7 seconds before they move off your homepage. So that's another reason why you want to have this on your homepage. But the About Us page, less than 2% of people, this global thing, less than 2% of people even go there. So that tells you about people's level of interest in you. Yeah? Some people are, 2 in 100 will, but most won't. So that's it there. You want to have all of these in your marketing pack, and then you use that, and we'll talk about how you can really optimize its use as a sales tool as well later. Any questions about that? No, pretty clear. Okay. So now different ways. So once you've got your niche decision made, you've got your niche statement, it's about getting, everything's going to flow from that, okay? Because that's what's going to give you market penetration. So the ways to market yourself, so lead generation website. You really want to have, so what's the difference between a lead gen site and a website that's just brochure site? Anyone? Something that captures their details, absolutely. So that's one of the new innovations. So marketing, the first type of marketing is get your name out there, the branding. Doesn't work for small business, right? It's like Nike, Telstra, all the big companies, if you're national or multinational, they brand, all right? Virgin, that sort of thing. With small business, you want direct response and potentially capture their details, right? Lead generation. Networking, huge. Obviously, architects and draftees if you're a builder, or real estate agents. But I mean, I've had stories where one of the guys, avid golfer, and he went and joined a private golf club in Sydney. Cost him 60 grand to join. Okay, you can't go play around there unless you belong. He plays it once a week, loves it. He was in the pub after his first round, 19th hole, and the guy said to him, "Oh, what do you do?" He introduced himself, and he's like lawyer, ex-high court judge, in the accounting firm guy, and he said, "A builder, $4.5 million worth of work from these guys, because they trust, just bang. They think he's one of the boys, paid 60 grand to be here, and he's obviously doing it right, and he didn't do that because that's what he wants to do, but that's a trust thing. So in terms of trust, get involved in your local community, like schools. The best thing you can do is coach the kids' footy team or something, or the cricket team, and then get your niche on their jerseys, sponsor the jerseys. Spend a couple $100 because if you're doing residential and parents see you with their kids, I mean, what's the most important thing in anyone's life, right? If you've got kids, your kids. So when they see that, the trust goes through the roof. That's a great strategy. Community stuff. So networking. Flyers, also with the brochures, using a cover letter. There are guys that are getting great quality jobs out of doing a house. Does anyone have display home? You guys display home? Great sales tool, right? Someone can walk in a house, you got a nice one, you just sign. I had a guy got one for 6 months and just signed like 8 homes, bang. But you can use a project that you're doing with the banners outside, your youth signage, then get a marketing brochure with a cover letter saying, hey, and you hand it out to like 100 homes around that house because they see you every day. They see your guys or your vehicles and your signage. And they probably know the person on their street. And if it's a friendly community, you can even ask the guy, you might put your name in there. We're doing John's house down the road. This is who we are. I just want to introduce ourselves. If you or anyone you know is thinking of doing something similar, come say hi or give us a call or just keep it conversational. And guys are getting jobs that way. And I got a phone call the other day from a guy said he got a phone call from a woman who said to him, listen, I just want you to know I work in marketing. I'm a marketing specialist and your marketing is exceptional by her standards, right? And he's a builder. So this is the other thing where most guys aren't doing this, and when you do it right, it really sets you apart. So, but newspaper and newspapers can be pricey, but I've got guys putting ads in this local school weekly paper, and it's $130 or $180 for the term. Once again, it's going to all the families. DA approval, council approval. You get the council approval here as well, right? Where the people have to go through council and then it has to be made known. These are in New South Wales and Melbourne, they've got a DA tracker where you can track them and then just send out a brochure with a cover letter introducing yourself as well. Works like a bomb. Radio, banners, vehicle signage, sight signs, shade cloth. Some guys go with the shade cloth all the way around. And sponsorship, community involvement. And hey, if something you're passionate about, like Life Saving Club or footy or cricket, golf, whatever. Okay, now some people say to me, but that's just ridiculous. Like, wow, why would you do all of that? Because I can't quote all the work. It's just it's going to defeat the purpose, right? What would you do if you had more inquiry coming in than you can handle? Hey, pick the good ones, put your price up, right? So hence marketing relates to the margin thing. We talk about 27% margin. Get this right. It allows you to put your price up, allows you to cherry pick the best jobs. Because the opposite of that is you got no inquiry. Some guy comes to you and he's just going to try and squeeze the life out of you, and you come across all desperate, and they can just smell the desperation. They can sense this guy's got no work. I'm just going to cane him. So lead generation website. Huge, right? And this, just on this note, because we're going to break for lunch soon, I just want to talk about the next tier of marketing. So the first is the get your name out there. The second is direct response. The third is having a lead generation website with an EMS, what's called an EMS system in the back end, an email marketing system, okay? Because the direct response stuff works, right? That stuff I showed you, that stuff that is working right now as I speak. Now, how many people do you reckon you see those ads are like, thinking of renovating, specialist, call now for free site inspection. How many people are going to be ready for site inspection now? Small percentage in that area, right? How many people are going to be ready for a site inspection or a house inspection or to get a quote done in the next 6 months? 12 months, 18 months, 2 years. Okay? So what you can do with your marketing is you say to them, instead of saying call for free house inspection or site inspection, is go to our website for the 12 things you absolutely need to know before you do one of these developments. Or the things you absolutely know before you build an architecturally designed home in this area. Now, most people the curiosity will get the better of them. Plus, they don't have to phone you or speak to you. They can just go, and people use QR codes as well in the site signs. You know the QR code, that little square thing? Put your phone over, and you go straight there. Oh, there you go, QR code, yeah. This thing here. It costs you nothing, by the way, to do it. It's easy peasy. Or $20. You can find a nerd, he'll do it for you. You go they go to your site, they then put their name and email address in, and they get an autoresponder sends them the 12 things they need to know. Immediately, bang. What's happened then is you've captured their details, their name and email address, and then they get fed into your email marketing system where you can then now communicate with them. Most of you guys get emails from me, newsletter stuff. Okay, so what you do is that, and you once every 6 weeks, once every 8 weeks even, and you can set this up on autoresponder. State of origin, you can send out an email, boom, and a photo of a job you've just finished. Another project's done. You've won an award. Merry Christmas, Happy Easter, whatever it is, it's our birthday. One pager. So you stay front of mind. 18 months rolls around. Now they're ready. They've got their finance together. They're ready to go. Who do they call? They've got a relationship with you for like 18 months. Okay, so you're well ahead. So this is what I'm talking about now in terms of this next level of marketing. And the thing that plugs into this and goes wild is Facebook. Okay, because people are getting, especially residential, are getting stuff done. That's like 86% of Australians are on Facebook, right? Taking photos. Someone in their family is going to take a photo, they're going to put it up, bang. They've got 200 friends on average. That's 6 degrees of separation. That's 500,000 people. If everyone's got 200 friends, that works out to 500,000 people. And where most guys get work from, referrals. So if you've got that set up with an email marketing system in the back end of your Facebook, which you can do, and link it to your website as well, and then feeds into the same database, what you do is you just grow this database of people in your particular niche over time. So eventually you'll have a database of thousands of people that are relevant to your niche that you can communicate with. And that in and of itself is worth money, right? But this is what I was saying. If you start doing this now, and we've got half a dozen clients that have started doing it, 3 years, and then people are jumping on board left, right, and centre. 3 years from now, my prediction is it'll be too late. If you start now and your competitor decides in 2016 or 17, okay, I get this concept, yes, I'm going to run with it, too late. Because they'll never be able to catch you. Yeah.
Can I ask one, I guess, objection I've had against that type of thing?
Yeah.
Or how you get over it is a lot of people are like, but it's like American. It's like you're bombarding with
So-
too much information.
Relevance, right? Relevance. So someone's going to spend $1 million, because I get it out a lot. Like someone say, oh, you can try this brochure. Yeah, some of our brochures are 45 pages, 30 pages. And they go, that's ridiculous. Well, it's too much, right? And it is if you're not about to spend $1 million on a home, which none of us are. Well, maybe some of you are, but if you're not that person, you can't speak for them. So you're going to go buy a new vehicle for 30 grand or 50 grand. How much due diligence do you do? How much shopping around and going on? You probably, for most of us, you want more information, right? You want to see more. So when someone's going to spend 800 grand on a home, or $1 million or whatever it is that you do, most of them, even if they don't read it all, they will not be angry by the fact that you've gone and created something that's 30 pages long that they opt in for. Most of them are looking for it. The only thing that will piss them off is if it's not relevant. So start talking about all your commercial work to your residential guys. They'll go, what's this crap? You know what I mean? So if it's relevant and it's useful, and you've got to, that's where you've got to switch the brain on and think about what can I give these guys that they don't know. All right, so I've got clients that do it. They talk about engineering, so architecture, design, builders. They'll talk about engineering, design. They go into a lot of detail on and interesting facts about these different components to building that gives the person social currency. It's called social currency. So when they're at a dinner party, so I'm just thinking architecture, design, homes. So a lot of the clients there are doctors, finance people. They're having dinner party. At the party, they tell their mates, hey, did you know about blah, 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 blah? And they go, wow, that's interesting. I don't know, well, how'd you hear about that? You know what I mean? So it's really the quality of the information is important. But I haven't had that objection.
Oh, it's just that, like I have got a system, but I just get other people that are not in the industry go, well that's just like, why would you be saying
Yeah,
that?
and
they just come across, and I said, well, it doesn't matter. They opt out. They don't have to read it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter as long as you're there.
Look,
in front of the people.
once we look at, once again, empiricists, so we look at what, I'm telling you what's working now, what guys are raving about. And be careful where you get your feedback from. It's like when you create a marketing thing, you give it to your mother-in-law or your friends, and then they go, oh, nah. But if they're not your clients, you shouldn't listen to them. You've got to give it to your architects and your clients that it's relevant to. Okay, so we're going to break for lunch a sec, but before I do, I just want to introduce you to someone that was at we had one of these in November last year, and this bloke was in the room, and I've been fortunate enough to work with Dale since then. So mate, I really appreciate you coming. So we'll just give you 5 minutes if Dale's kindly come along just to explain to you guys what they've done and how things are progressing at HDL Homes.
We've only started with Kurt. I think you came up about the 4th of January. Come up, saw us, sat down with us. We started then. Been seeing you every 2 weeks. Basically for us, we had some good client base. We had some good people we've worked with, good architects. Where we struggled, we didn't have probably good procedures in place, good operations. Like we all know how to build a really good house. We all know how to build a good unit, whatever we do. But it's the back end of it. It's dealing with people. It's getting paperwork done. Everyone knows you swim in paperwork. For us, it's the procedures. It's putting in place. Like because we're only sort of new with you, we've got everything sort of starting up and running already.
Roles and the role clarity and that.
That's
Yeah.
a big thing on it.
Yeah.
And, we're fortunate in the fact that there's 3 of us. I've got a business partner, my wife. So we've been able to really split the business up, and it's working really, really well for us. It's like I'm going down now to present a tender. It's just little things like that, like people that impressed with what we're doing. We've gotten on board with Co-Construct. we've got a client at the moment we're building a house for. It's a big home. They live in Sydney, so I'm on the phone to them every day, just how you going, what's going on. Through the co-construct, they can jump on, they'll be able to see photos, updates. I mean, I know you can email all that, but everything's just in one spot. Selections are done. It's just, yeah, what Kurt showed us to do is basically what we knew what to do, but he's just showed us how to do it so much better, so much more efficient. Like, I've got more hours in the day now that I'm spending on the business, not running around chasing blokes. What are you doing here? What's happening there? It's, yeah, I've been able to really knuckle down on the business and get it running a lot more efficient. Be able to do presentations a lot better. Yeah, it's just that. I guess it's just that. It's just get procedures.
The big thing, because we spoke about time management earlier as well, and I know for you guys there was no role clarity for the three of them, and there's a lot of overlap. And it was interesting. We had a call where you said there's air. There's like it was all you found once they started focusing, and it was role clarity and time management. That you found all this extra time.
The other thing too, I ring a business partner 20 times a day, and I think he commented to you the other month. He said, I hardly hear from you anymore. I get an email, sums up what's got to be done, because he's more running the sites, I'm more running the office, and we're not overlapping, we're not ringing the same people. It's just, yeah.
A lot of clarity.
Freed up a lot of time to spend on it.
Fantastic.
Not sort of chasing the tail. So.
Mate, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And I just want to say these guys implement stuff. Because you guys are doing it, so I want to commend you on that.
Yeah, we are. Like, you know, he's given us homework, I suppose you call it. We sit down, we get it done, and we're seeing, even though it's only 3 months, we're seeing it already. It's really working. It's really making my life a lot easier, making Carla's life a lot easier, and then Carla, who does all the accounts, she's actually sit back going, geez, you know, you get invoices out before stuff's due, you know, money's coming in, it's good.
Fantastic. Thanks again, mate. I will catch up with you now. I'm just going to wrap up. Thanks. With that, guys, I just want to impress upon you whatever you walk away with today to implement, to really put it into practice, because some of the stuff sounds so simple on paper, and it is. It's really in the follow-through that you get a result. So we're going to break for lunch, guys. Hour. So from now till 2. If you can come back just a little before 2, 5 minutes before, so we can kick off at 2 o'clock, because we've got a lot to get through on the home stretch. Thanks, guys. So, guys, just following on from the last section on lead generation, and in particular the client banking concept. So having a website or Facebook page that captures leads, like I say, it's cutting edge. Just a bit of background. The way I got into this, and it's like I mentioned before, it's when I get feedback from people that something's working, from a number of people, that I then start to pay attention. And I ran a training session here last year, probably middle of last year, in the boardroom, and there was a guy in there, Gold Coast builder, and his cousin, who's sitting next to me now, helped him create this Facebook page. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but as it evolved, and when I had a closer look at it, and then I offered it to some other guys, and I truly got my head around this client banking system, and then saw the results that people have got. We've now got, since then, 15 guys that have jumped in, and have started their client banking process, the system building a database. It's just been exceptional, and it really is something that I think, in terms of cutting edge, where marketing is going, this is it, and I strongly encourage you to pay attention, take notes, and listen to Richard, who's one of the guys who's linked directly to Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg, we've seen the movie Facebook. He's one of the guys here in Australia that works closely with them. So I'll hand you over to Rich.
Cheers, thanks very much. Hey everyone, how's it all going? How was the feed? Looked really amazing up there. I said no when got offered lunch, and now I'm sort of thinking yes, it would have been a good idea. I guess I'm not nervous because I'm actually a musician and performer by trade, not traditionally necessarily selling email and Facebook integration services, which Kurt alluded to. The whole reason I'm standing in front of you So I want to make it clear, I'm not really here to do a sales pitch. I'm kind of more here to tell a story of what happened with my cousin and now has subsequently happened for 10 or 15 guys that Kurt has brought me over. So that's probably I wanted to say that because it kind of relieves the pressure from me a bit and just sort of sets the scene. So basically my cousin did Kurt's training course. He was in quite a slump and things kind of, I don't know, he was losing a bit of vibe and life with his trade. You know, all of our family are tradies. I'm one of the few in the extended family that's not in the trades business. My father's a brickie, so I grew up brickies labouring. I went and lived with my uncle. He was a builder, so I was doing chippy stuff and cutting Harry hundreds and doing all the stuff as a kid and sort of know the trades industry from being inside. And then, yeah, saw Trent sort of going through quiet patches and not knowing how to sort of move into another bracket, you know, and basically just working his guts out and struggling a bit. And then he went and did Kurt's course, and it breathed some new life, I think, into him, just as a guy as well. Just he gave him some more, you know, he's ringing me a lot about his business, and we'd catch up, and he was more motivated, and he was telling me about working with Kurt. And then I had a look at what was happening, and I saw there was a website getting chipped away at, and there was, new stuff coming on board for him and new focus. But I saw a pretty big hole, gap in there for him, one that is going to increasingly be a hole that a lot of people in the trades industries are kind of in now, and certain ones will come out of. And that was just, he wasn't making use of the two number one sort of most cost-effective ways to for lead generation, retaining past clients. And I said to him, look, let me professionally set up a Facebook page for you. Do it properly. There's a big difference between getting your son to set one up and getting one done properly. And I have to mop up a lot of messes. So I spend half my time mopping up a mess before I get to actually do the page properly for people. But that's part of it. Do that, and then integrate it with because the main thing that I identified with Trent, zero time, lack of interest in computers in general. They were the sort of two main things. He said, if you're going to do this thing for me, I'm probably not going to use it, but thanks anyway. I said, I'll do it for you anyway. And I said, and I'll come out in the job site and I'll show you how to use it on the job site. And now, he's gone from strength to strength with it. His client bank is right up. He's pulled in work from it because he's got a retained relationship with other builders and ex-clients and things like that. So anyways, for about 4 months, he kept saying to me, man, you've got to tell Kurt about what you did for me. He told a couple of his mates, and actually one of his mates, I think, rung Kurt and asked about me. And I was sort of doing other things. I didn't worry about it too much, but then I did another one, and we did another one, and now I realised that what's happened is, without meaning to, sort of created something that fits perfect for people, for builders and tradies. Something that's really simple to use, something that doesn't take much, but most importantly doesn't waste any time, and it's just where things are at now. And you'll see as I do the presentation, if you're not integrated, if you haven't got Facebook working for you and integrated with a decent email client banking system, and there are plethora, that's the other thing too. The other issue was there's so many out there, it's really confusing, like so many systems and so many things you can do, but it's really hard to know what it's worth doing. That's the issue. For me, to give you an idea, I spent 8 years researching email marketing system, 8 years. And I've tried nearly probably 80, from API, from self-built PHPs, all the way through all the different types you can do. And I've nutted it down to a pretty simple thing in the end. It was it's got to be clean, it's got to be quick, it's got to be social media integrated completely. And so that's basically what I did for him. And I'm just gonna demonstrate to you guys how it works and show you just how powerful it can be within the trades business. And I guess the best way for me to do this is to, I might be walking out of here sooner. Just show of hands if you're here because you received an email communication. Did you receive an email communication in regards to this session? Okay, cool. So that's a large proportion. That's more, that's maybe 80% of you. So that's it walking its talk there. And you know, you use email every day for business. All I'm talking about now is putting it in the front end of your business, where it's actually lining up work for the future, for when jobs drop off, maintaining and strengthening past relationships, keeping your name in the mind of draftees, designers, fellow builders and ex-clients, just subtly, just every now and then, not spamming people, certainly. And then the Facebook thing, again, just a simple thing. Who uses Facebook? Okay, who knows someone who uses Facebook? Okay, cool. So, and that's what I tend to find. A lot of the tradies don't use Facebook themselves, and that's a really good thing about Facebook pages. You don't need to use Facebook to use the Facebook page. You don't need to have anything to do with Facebook in any way in order to interact with someone's Facebook page. And yeah, so there's no requirement for you to enter the Facebook world yourself in any grand scale to use Facebook. But the reality is that most people are. So now it's up to 89, I think it's 87 or 89% of Australians are using Facebook, which is massive. So yeah, it's just there and it's just what's happening. So I'll give you some research and I'll just basically show you what I do and yeah, you can see. So, and my other job is I do this. I lecture at Think Education about social media marketing, and I use it with my own project as well, of course. So basically, what is an EMS, email marketing system, and why do I need it? Because this is the other thing I found too, is that in your industry, you've just got to use stuff that works. You can't waste time with lots of different things. So basically, it allows it's a simple online tool. It sends traceable, branded and multimedia emails. So the emails it sends, you'll know every single thing about the person. You'll know which cafe they were sitting in when they opened your email, what time of day, what iPad version they're using, what internet, you know, the whole deal. So you'll have it all there, which is amazing. So I'm going to do a demonstration today. We're going to send an email for my cousin, and then, you know, if I'm cheeky enough, I'll do a follow-up leads call right here in front of you to someone and go, thanks for downloading the info pack about Trent being a green smart builder. You know, did you want to maybe meet with him or talk further about what that is? So it's like a first stage, and that's in terms of what an email marketing system is. It's got to have those things, and it's got to be rock solid. So again, you know, there's a million different ways, but this one that I'm working with, that I'm delivering, is the strongest in the marketplace. This one's the one used by all the big players. The branded emails are they look beautiful. You'll see one soon. They're completely branded. Someone receives it and they just go, these people are on another level, you know. They're gone are the days of, you know, oh mate, here's a business card and it's half crusty and hand that over. You'll be sending them something in 30 seconds that literally, and Trent's seen it before, he's seen clients' eyes light up. They just go. Then they look back at him thinking, is this bloke a builder? Like, you know, he's really felt this lift in this initial kind of, he calls it the first touch. That's something that he said he learnt from the seminars about a first touch being really important with a lead. And that's what he said. He gets a lot of that feedback. So it's professional interactive emails. So for the purpose of maintaining relationships and converting current leads. So that's the second reason. So interactive, I mean literally interactive. So inside the inbox, and we're going to go do it, it works. It talks to Facebook from inside there. It's a live functioning brochure. It's a brochure, but it's interactive. They can do things with it right there inside their email browser or on their iPad. Some of you, I'll get you to receive one in a little while and you can test it as well. And then the third thing, which really is massively important, is client banking. And I had a great example. I hadn't had a chance to share this with you yet, Kurt, but remember Brian Baden, the older sort of guy that I did one of these for, who nearly had a heart attack when I rang him on the phone trying to tell him about it, like how to use it. He's like, I think he's about 55, 56. He's starting to change what he wants to do with his business, but he's old school guy that built up this amazing kind of connection with his clients over the years, all the houses and jobs he's done. He's still got rapport there, and think he's out Toowoomba way, so he's got a community thing. And this client banking, what it's opened up for him, me and him have had some discussions about it, and he's sent a few newsletters himself, does it himself and everything. But what he's done is he's decided that he wants to migrate his business out of the back break and off the job site, and he wants to start doing something easier. Wants to start doing these eco consultations inside the homes for efficiency, where they fix up the seals and the windows and stuff. And he's got a couple of suppliers who want to work with him. Anyways, so here he is with his 220 ex-clients, which he drummed up. Took him a while to drum it up. He got some out of his MyOb, he got some out of his email program. A lot of them he got from business cards and things like that were lying around all his past work. And he's let them know about this new thing. So here they are receiving this communication from a bloke they know. Some of them have spent a lot of money with him. Those that have had some serious dollars haven't heard from him for a very long time, pretty much since handover, really. And they get this communication. It's soft, it's gentle, it's just reminding, you know, who he is and saying this new product and this new thing that he does. So he's taking his client bank and starting a new business out of his ex-career. You know, and then, you know, and so he's sort of migrating, and that's what the beautiful thing about the client bank is. It's literally a bank of people that you can go back to and say, hey, we've done business in the past. This is now the business I'd like to do with you, and this system will help you do it. So yeah, that's what it is and why do I need it. So then moves on to what is the Auto e-brochure and why do I need that? Well, for Trent, he always had issues with making sure that he had current brochures ready and printed in the car, business cards. He was always having dramas with this. Then he would forget to send them, or he'd get home and he'd written things down during the day of someone's address and or I'll send this out, or even going home to email him a PDF or whatever. He was falling down with just this professional bang. You know, I said I'm going to get in touch with you about what my company does. I've done that in a really sleek way. So that was an issue for him. So the Auto e-brochure, because to be honest, a lot of guys are scared by the idea. They're like, nah, mate, sounds great, but I don't want to email anybody anything ever. And so that's fine. You know, there's a fair few people that just don't use that part of it. They only use this feature. That's the feature they want. They want the Auto e-brochure. They just want the ability to type in a name and an email, press a button, and know that that person's going to receive the communication and have got an interactive way to do it. So that's what they use it for. So it's about, at the moment, it's 50-50. 50% of the people I work with just use it for the Auto e-brochure, and they know that these clients are being stored in a bank, waiting for them to use one day, but they're just not interested at the moment, and they're just not going there at the moment. They don't see a use for repeatedly reaching out to their people, and that's fine. So the Auto e-brochure is that. It's literally that. You just go, you know, your phone rings, yep, no, yeah, okay, cool, bang, name and email, press a button, and the person receives it, and it's, you know, it's a brochure for them. So what it contains, you'll see it in a minute. The basics. It contains a link to book a consultation with you, download a printable brochure if they want to, look through your galleries, interact with your Facebook page, and interact with your website. So they're the things. So why do I need it? When I did this slide, I wrote about 20 million things, and then I realised really it's just a really sleek and simple and easy way to communicate to someone about your business in a way that leaves you feeling confident that you've done that really well, and it's really cheap, you know. So that's basically, you know, to boil it down, and it's all about first impressions. And as Trent, because I asked Trent, I said, what kind of feedback do you get? And he just said that. He just said, I just get this, people just have this impression about me now, my business. They just have this impression that I'm not just a medium level sort of builder, usual tradie. I'm something above, you know, I'm up another level. I'm working, that's the impression that he's been getting. And how do I know that? Because the jobs that he's now getting back, because he's done efforts with this, are higher level jobs. So he's actually moving into bigger and bigger brackets within his career path through a combination of niching and specialising, which we'll see a bit in a minute, and through using this system. He enters between 2 and 4 a day. So he gets phone calls from all different areas. So, and this is the interesting thing, he'll do some other types of advertising. So in a sense, this thing is a tool. It's an advertising tool, but it's not like a TV ad or a radio ad, you know. It's not just a blanket advertising. It's more of a tool that you use when other results come in. So when you get leads back from those other things, you will be using it to send it out. So he gets a phone call, or his wife will get a phone call at home in the office, and they'll just politely say, just want to grab your name, your phone number and your email. No one ever says no, and they get the brochure over to them. That begins the relationship. And then what he does, he logs in 3 or 4 days and has a look, and I'll show you how this is done in a minute. Just has a look, who's opened it, who hasn't, what have they looked at, what haven't they looked at, and that's what he does to make a decision about not wasting his time. Instead of getting back going, where's the potential quote book, I've got to call he looks in and goes, oh, okay, so this guy's opened it 3 times, he's looked at the brochure, he's downloaded the PDF, I'm calling him first before I call this other person who hasn't even opened it yet. Even though they were so excited when they talked to him about the finance was coming, I want to build the dream home, but the reality is that they're a dead-end lead. He knows that before he wastes time. So, and he does it, he just says he just puts about an hour and a half aside on a Thursday and just goes through, because all week he's been entering it. So anyway, enough from me. I'll just show you it. This is it on the job, basically.
Here with Trent Latimer from Latimer Building, and looking at...
And just forgive this, like I said, this was not a business idea I set out with. This was just, Kurt rang me and said, Rich, you reckon you can get some kind of video happening about this thing you did for your cousin? And I just rang him and said, mate, can I come around to one of your job sites? And at first I said, are you using it? Yep, I'm using it. Right, can I come around and point my mobile phone at you? So he's pretty nervous, I think.
How he is using Facebook and the email management system with the auto brochure in the practical context of his building business and renovation business.
So I'm Trent. How I best use the EMS is we'll have a client, subcontractor, supplier give me a call. Instead of writing out their details and getting back to them later, I like to get in contact with them straight away. So I go onto the Facebook page, which is set up by Rich, which is set up with recent photos of the work we've been doing, and all relevant information.
So yeah, just the cinematography was not excellent, but you know, I thought instead of doing any major, you know, whiz-bang marketing thing, just the reality is it worth using? Does it work? Is it cheap? And can I use it? You know, that's pretty much, you know, doesn't matter how anything else. They're the main things that matter. And that's kind of an example. Since then, but that was not that long ago. He's growing his database a lot, and yeah, he's using it pretty extensively, which is really, really good. So let's have a quick example. Here's a client that I recently set up, New Space Developments. So as Trent said, I do a like boost, so that because most people's pages have only got not many people, I set into action some processes to build up your likes so that when people go there, they don't assume that your business is not liked. And if you don't think it matters, then it'd be good. I'll show you some research, but just do it yourself. Just research into the numbers of people who, what they do is Google is I'll show you in a minute, Google's going to decline more and more as we go, and what's going to come in is what's called social search and social currency. So that's where no longer are people going to just want to hear from your website about how great you are and want to read the testimonials that you've decided to copy and paste onto your site. They're going to be wanting to see that the business is alive and kicking and that it's operating in the world, and that's what they do. So and I do the same. I'll go make a decision about a restaurant or something, I'll go over to Facebook, have a quick look at the page. What are people actually saying? Are people enjoying this? Many people like it. Question?
Yeah, what techniques do you use for the boost, like boost?
So there's a range of techniques for that. Some of it's a little bit of light entry-level advertising, which comes as part of the package. Okay, so, and that's network affiliated. Just to get it up, usually I try to get it up around 250 to 400, mainly using that method. Mind you, once this is set up, then, you know, it's not the topic of today's conversation, it's just getting it happening, but the Facebook advertising to then target and niche from there forward is great. But I just use like a light level, so you'll just get, it's not always relevant perfectly to you. It doesn't mean that this initial client base is going to start asking for houses. Most of them, yeah. Some of them will be accounts that we put on there that look genuine but aren't used a lot. But yeah, 90%, 99% will be used. So, and that really helps, you know, that really gets people kind of, you know, there are many ways to do that, and that's what you're alluding to. And if you do it the wrong way, you'll be in a world of pain with your Facebook page. So if you type in and try to get likes for your page, you know, everyone in the world will be offering you ways to do that. Yeah, if you're using anything outside of network sharing hubs with people that you've worked with repeatedly, then you'll end up having your page destroyed and shut down. So that's how I do it. I've got long-term relationships with people that are, you know, in that business. So yeah, and we throw that in and then you go from there. So this is their page, it's set up, it's got their video, it's got a range of their galleries and information. All of this stuff has been optimized for the two things. Facebook EdgeRank, which is the internal ranking system for Facebook. So that's where I have to mop up a lot of messes with people that just go, oh, I'll set up a Facebook page. And then I get in there and go, okay, I pretty much have to start again. In many cases, I have to write to Facebook and ask them to actually close it down, wait for several weeks, and then begin again with the way that people have set up their pages. Edge ranking is becoming important. So at the moment, the climb for people searching on Facebook instead of Google is already massive. But soon when Google releases this next search, which I'm going to show you in a moment, it will eclipse it. Google will no longer be the #1 search engine, full stop, that's it. Websites will no longer be the authority for people making service and product choices, no more. Because people know that websites are just your marketing campaign. And they want to see social currency, they want to see connection, they want to see stuff like with, you know, Trent, he's doing the stuff I said, you know, jobs in progress, he's putting in, you know, so people can go there and go, this person is active, alive and kicking, you know. That means something a lot to people. You know, it doesn't have to all be great, amazing photos. To be honest, the most watched TV shows are Renault shows. they rate and they go viral. One of my clients yesterday, she said, Rich, how do you think I can get some more people to like my page? I said, oh, you got a friendship with a recent client, a current client? She said, yeah. I said, just tell your husband, tell Brett to take a photo before he knocks off the Savi, tag you, put it on your page, and just say, and put your phone number on the end of it, and you watch. That woman gets it. She gets home, oh, look at this, we've got a picture up on Facebook of the deck coming together. Who does she want to tell? She wants to tell the neighbours, she wants to tell uncle and auntie, she wants to tell grandma, and don't think that they're not on it, on Facebook. So those of you who aren't on Facebook, you are a very small minority, very small, and a continually declining minority. But I support that minority as well, because I think Facebook's got its pros and cons. So that goes viral for her. So that brings return back to her page. So anyways, we're starting to talk Facebook when I just want to finish with email. Let's do it. Let's just do it now. So I'm from New Space Developments. I've received a phone call, and I can do this anywhere. I can do this here on my iPad or on my iPhone, whatever. So I've got the client's details. The client is me. Let's go to the button. Chuck it in. Not going to fill out heaps of stuff, but you can choose your different, because you want to target. Sometimes you want to just target contractors and say, hey, we're having a Christmas party. I know you only worked for us for you might have someone that only came in and did a slab or something, worked for you 6 weeks. Gets an email, 9 months later, from this builder that he worked with, and goes, you're joking, inviting me to the, that stuff counts, that stuff walks, when people are feeling that between businesses. Business in general is becoming more about social, social stuff. So you can choose there. Hit the button. So obviously customers can do it as well, yeah? Customers can go and do it themselves, but 80% of the time when you're starting off, you'll be doing it. You'll be just entering everyone. The other day I set up one for a guy and he said, oh, I want to send this to everyone, or my whole thing. And I said, well, then you'll enter each one of them and send them out the brochure. And he just brought an office girl in for 2 days. She just, bang, just did it, sent it out to everyone from his, all of his bits of paper that he had, which was cool. So that's done that. So what happens? I receive an email. Here it is here. I receive his e-brochure. All right? There's a range of things this e-brochure can do. Obviously, first and foremost, it looks amazing. Who is this builder? This builder is not some bloke who's going to come in and make a mess of my house and leave stuff everywhere and not sign off properly and not be certified. Whoever this builder is, they're professional. So a few things. For a start, people can like the actual email. So that'll head off to Facebook now and tell all my 1,000 friends that I like that actual email. Not even just this. So everyone now, anyone who's on Facebook right now has seen.
Will that go through to friends of friends depending on the setting?
Friends of friends as well, yep. So it'll come up in my activity feed shortly. It'll come up in my activity feed that I've liked that page. And it'll basically make it go viral. And then from there, obviously also there's a like button with inside it. So usually the e-brochure is broken down to these elements. Quick, who are we? And connect with us. That's it, straight to the point. Like our page, we want to stay in touch with you. Then it goes on to order a quote, so they can click the button and order a quote. It'll bring up for them whatever preferred email program they're using, instantly brings up an email ready to go, shoot over to you. A few other things that the brochure does. Obviously, for them it's got a video. They can download it like a printable information pack if you do have some printable brochures. So it's a great way to distribute your printable brochures too. Instead of you having to print them all and hand them out, if someone says, they might say, oh look, that sounds great about the electronic thingy, but I'm a paper-based person, I'd like your brochure, and you might say, you might not have one right there. You say, you got a printer at home? Yeah, I got a printer. All right, I'll send you this. There, you know what I mean? They don't have to go anywhere. They just press print now and it comes out their home printer. So they get the electronic or the paper, depending on their preference. And then, I put a few, obviously there's a link to your photo gallery, which 9 times out of 10 is a link back to your Facebook gallery. And the reason why is because I've noticed with a lot of builders, I say to them, how often do you update your website? And to be honest, I haven't had a single builder say that they update the website, really. I've had some builders say that they're going to tell the person who made it originally or find the phone number somewhere to call a guy from that will maybe put a picture up. That's the story I keep hearing. So what I say is, you know, update your own, just update your page yourself, you know, like take time and money out of the loop. And I'd just like to do that, you know. I'd just like to update, give you an example of how that sort of works. So I'm just going to do this very quickly. Heads down. We'll do a bit of these ones. That'd be good. That adds social currency. No joke. That adds social currency. You get a photo with a client standing on their deck with just got the varnish done, and you're standing there next to someone smiling, and they've got their home behind them. You post that on Facebook with your phone number and your contact details inside the picture, and let it run its course. Exactly, you know, and then you decide to promote it. So yeah.
While you're doing that,
Yep.
normally we've all got our contact us page.
Yeah.
Can we, instead of have that go to its own little form, to this?
Yeah. So this can be put on anywhere. It can be put on your website. Obviously, the primary purpose of it is on your Facebook page. That's it. It's API integrated with Facebook. That's the beauty of it. But yeah, you can put a form on your website.
It just makes that more
Yeah, sure.
Because
Yep.
at the moment, ours email back to us where this is what
Yep.
everything shows me what that person's done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
Yeah, I'll-
wasting time is wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much. You should take over the the thing. So okay, this is it. Let's just do it right now, okay? Because people say, oh yeah, update my website myself. Sure. I'm just going to post that now. I usually would say something, and I'd usually put something in there. I'm just going to post it. So that's it. I've taken a photo. I've gone to my Pages app, and this is easy stuff. Like I only pressed 2 buttons there. And once I learnt what one to press first, it was like press that one, then press that one. So no fear around it. And if you don't want to do it, just hand it over to get one of the apprentices or someone, or get someone in the office to do it. Just come back with the phone and chuck it on the desk and say, that's what happened today. Tell the world what happened in our business today so that we look contemporary. And then essentially your newsletters will get there. They end up being a monthly or 6 weekly or 8 weekly story. That tends to be what happens. So, so let's go and have a look. So I go to my page. So I've just updated my own website 41 seconds ago. No more ringing a website guy, no more stressing out about things not being right, no more, can you bloody change that fax number? You know, how many times have I emailed you to change the fax number? No more trying to log in, and no complicated systems. There are too many people that are trying to, you know, everyone's got these amazing technologies and things, but to be honest, no one uses them. You only use stuff that is simple and that works. And like I said, I'm not really here to do a sales pitch, you know, apart from the fact that it just works. And I use it myself, you know, which I'll demonstrate to you when I finish the, you know, the stuff that I use. So there you go. You can update your page. I'll remove that in case anyone doesn't want their mug on the web. There you go. You're building this. You guys are doing the seminar here. Exactly. You're going to like it, and then you're going to like it, and then all your friends are like, okay, so you're in this seminar with this guy called Rich who does all this amazing email and Facebook stuff.
Share it on our site too. Too late.
Oh, just might put that back up. Hang on, all inquiries go through Kurt for me. So yeah, that's that and that's done. So I don't want to linger too much longer. How am I going for time? 5 minutes, wow. Okay. Let's just now make this a reality for you guys. So we've just entered that person in, yeah? You saw Rich at awareness shows. This is their system. They log in at the back here. There I am. Go and have a look at me. Okay, I've had a click in this email. I've opened the email. What did I click on? I clicked on the new space brochure. All right, you call, say to the office girl, anyone who downloads the brochure, they're more than just a potential interested. They've taken the time to like our page and download our brochure. You call this person. So every Thursday he goes back through all the new people that have come in, which he's mainly entered himself, and he looks, what have they done with it? Okay, a heap of them have opened it, what have they done with it? And there it is right there. So what do? Usually the phone number's in there. You just, yeah, you can phone them or you can email them and say, look, appreciate you took interest in my business, appreciate you downloaded the brochure. And how long did it take you to send that to him? 30 seconds. You saw me do it on the screen. So I set all that up for you. Everything's ready to go. You don't do anything. So that's the main thing. And then the system at the back here is really, really simple to use. Takes me 1 hour to train people. It's like this. Create a campaign. Go through. Put a name in for it. Put who it's from. That's it. Choose a design. I've already set up a design in there for you, ready to go. Go in here. It's easier than Microsoft Word. Edit text. You want to insert a like button. You don't need to be a Facebook social media guru. You just go insert like button. And it says, sure, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm talking simple. I'm not joking. I've been on the phone to 55-year-old guys who don't use computers, and I've just walked them through it, and they've gotten to the end, and they're sending their own letters every 6 weeks. It's taken them about 2 hours. What I wanted to do today, which I'm not going to have time to do, but it would have been amazing, is I wanted to send a real life one and then show you this thing tracks it in real time. So I would be able to open it here, and a little dot would fire down on the map and showing that I've opened it. And so, yeah, that's the power of it as an email marketing system afterwards. But first and foremost, it's about the brochure. And the Facebook page, I hope I don't need to say too much on why you would need a Facebook page. So that's a quick overview of why this particular system, and here's the key. And I'm telling you, I've tried and used 80 of them, 80. Ones that are in CRMs, not in CRMs, everything. Ones that are in accounting packages, not in accounting packages, all of them. Tried and utilised all of them that are available currently. And they're not cheap. This is cheap. So to set this whole thing up with the e-brochure and everything, as you'll learn, it's like $1,500. And it's like $60 a month for unlimited brochures and unlimited contacts. So that's, anyways, that's that. Why are email newsletter effective? Same stuff I've said, nurture and whatnot, save money and resources. They're the highest return on investment for any advertising channel across all businesses. So in your business, the small and mediums are just starting to wake up now. The bigger boys have already been in this for a long time, and they're already getting the return on investments for it. So yeah, okay, it works, looks great, but is it easy to use? So this would have been the part where I showed you, and I timed it before. I think it took me 7 minutes to send an email from my cousin. It took me 7 minutes. I inserted 2 photos, put a link to the website, put a little like button, sent it off to 250 people in about 7 minutes. So, and you get some guidance on what's good to send. This is the usual structure here. You update them in the first paragraph. You give them something. So in this case, Trent's newsletter is about sustainable green building. And I think I do have, Kurt, I'm aware. Have I got just that? Here, just want to show this in here it is here. So I did prepare it earlier just in case, I'm lucky. Just edit the content, and everything in this system is simple 1-sentence instructions in case you get stuck as well. So there it is there. So update them and then tell them about the Green Smart partnership, provide them a link to current galleries. That's it. Keep it really simple and don't do it often. 6 to 8 weeks, remind them, and then every now and then you niche it. When you're down and you know there's a quiet period coming and you've got most of your referrals through draftees and designers, hit them with something nice and give them something nice. And keep your name rises to the top of the pile as long as you don't annoy them. It's proven strategy. So yeah, that's basically, so that's the Facebook Boost. I've already covered why you need it. Open Graph Search is the new thing. I can't show the video right now, but we're out of time for that.
How long is it?
Goes for about 6 minutes. Just out, yeah, okay. We'll get some information out. But basically, how do I summarise this?
Can you stream it as a link?
Yeah. We can get it out. I'll just quickly describe it. This new search engine, Facebook's basically decided to destroy Google. That's what's happened. They've decided they want to take over Google. Google relies currently on people typing in searches for business and services and getting some ads on the side, which link back to people's pages. They're continuing to drop as the first place people go to do this, constantly dropping down as no longer, some the older brackets are, younger brackets are not doing it. they're going to Facebook. Facebook's about to launch a search engine that you can type in this sort of thing. Builders on the Gold Coast who specialise in decks, who my friends like, photos. Bang. And it will bring up photos from your work that friends of that person has liked, where you've said you're a builder on the Gold Coast. And it will rank you based on the length of time you've been established on Facebook, which is called social capital and currency, and it'll put them right there on the page. That's the new search engine that's coming. No longer relying on you telling, it's relying on collective knowledge. It's the same as me going, hey, who do you reckon I should use to do the roof or whatever? Oh, I know someone. It's word of mouth. It's just word of mouth, but it's just on the web and it's super powerful. So they're the other stats you need to know. Just basically that's what's happening. So having a powerful EMS is just a standard. It's a primary tool in your marketing box. An e-brochure is the most effective, powerful and easy way to get a first touch out to leads, which is interactive and instant. And having a professional, edge rank, open graph ready Facebook page is becoming more important than a website. And I know many people that they're just getting pages now and not getting websites. So yeah, and then today, basically, usually it's 3,000 to set up, but based on the seminar, it's today. And I won't get a chance to show you the video either, but the whole reason, because I said this isn't my primary business, but the whole reason, every 20 clients that I get, my main trade is I tour the world in high schools and I sing to young people about like issues in life, drug and alcohol stuff, drink driving, and a range of things. And I'm gonna, every 20 clients, I'm gonna pay for a whole high school to go to one of these concerts, and we've seen life-changing things. So, and that formulates part of what's called a social business strategy, which is a new business model coming in at the moment, where your business practices then need to connect back into the communities in which you exist. And for me, just so you know, every 20 clients I register for one of these, I'm going to pay for a whole school to go to one of these shows. So, but I had a video for that, but we've done the time. So anyways, just thanks for listening. And cheers.
We've got to move on with the
Yeah.
time. Thanks, but I've got some information here. If anyone is
He's got
interested in having a chat to Richard about this.
Oh, hey mate.
So I'm
Cheers.
going to hand these
Thanks,
out.
mate.
In fact, if you pass those back to different forms, just take one and pass it on, please.
I think the regos are still over there, aren't they?
Next, which is the sales section. So hopefully you got some value there. I do believe this is the sort of thing that it's a case of get on with, get in and get it done if it's relevant to your business. Otherwise, you could miss the boat. It's one of those things. So like, the 80s and 90s, you didn't place an ad. It wasn't a big deal. You could place an ad later. But this is something with the client banking philosophy you want to really get on board. And hopefully you can see the benefit there from what Richard spoke about. So just that covers marketing. That finishes the marketing section. To lock in your learnings, if you could just grab a sheet of paper, write in your number one most relevant learning for you and your business. And then also conservatively, how much you think it's going to make you. Remember, quantifying it in dollar terms is going to give you priority and focus for when you do, because the end of today, you're probably going to have 15, 20 things, 12, whatever, that you want to execute, and you want to prioritize those based on biggest upside return.
Google AdWords, we're spending $2,100 a month, and we've got a marketing company we're spending $5,000 a month just for internet.
Whoa. Yeah.
Doing that.
Okay, do you mind if I share that, Damien? Yeah.
I was just saying, within our company, we do Google AdWords through a network company, which costs us about $2,900 a month at the moment, but we actually spend $5,000 a month on these guys, keeping our web presence up and going in the right place, and that where I can see for the cost of this, we've just seen it's phenomenal, and the power and the return you're going to get is just incredible.
So you're spending $7,900 a month just on your website and AdWords. So I know Rich didn't mention it, but there is, besides Zuckerberg taking out Google, it was quite ambitious, but there's also...
This isn't sales at all, but I had a client in Brisbane, they spent $3,000 in online advertising with me, and I drove 285,000 impressions back with $3,000.
look, it fits in with it. Like I said, at first I wasn't paying too much attention until I saw guys signing contracts from Facebook leads. And let's face it, in this industry, it's all about referrals. So that's an online referral system. That's all it is. And it's a good opportunity to get in now. Okay, so lock those in, and we're going to move. We've had the lunch. We're going into sales.